Assalamu alaikum. मेरा नाम आरिफ मंसूरी है and I'm the host of the Mansuri Show, the show that is best described as मिलाऊंगा, बताऊंगा, दिखाऊंगा. Your link to everything Pakistani is straight from California, the Mansuri Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest with us here today. We have the mayor of city of Artesia with us here today, Mr. Ali Sajjad Taj. First of all, I would like to welcome you to our show.
Thank you very much for having me, Mr. Mansuri. I've always enjoyed your productions and especially your interviews that you have done over these years. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. I would tell a little bit about Mayor Taj. He has been serving on the City Council of Artesia since December 2013. He served as the mayor and currently is the City Council member. He has recently announced that he will be participating, he's running for California State Senate from the 32nd Legislative District. And he is a very strong candidate for this seat. And he's a Democrat, and he has support of a very large majority of law enforcement and elected officials in the constituency. So we will discuss that with him. First of all, I'd like to begin by asking you about your personal background and some of your educational background. I understand you have a very strong, you've worked in the financial field for a long time. And so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I came to the United States when I was 16. But that was visiting my uncles and aunts. But I came here in the United States of America permanently about 20 years ago. My first job ever was a sales rep at a local Artesia electronic good guys store. I started from the bottom of the rank and moved to American Express Financial, paid myself through getting education on financial services in Series 7 and so on. Became a financial advisor, then moved into the management role and ran the Southern California Riverside Division as vice president for American Express and Ameriprise Financial. Did that for up till 2011. After 2011, I kind of stepped away, took a little bit of an early retirement, but started my own business with some partners. And that was managing a fund that we still manage. And I was also, during that time, working on things which really relate to reaching out to the community, like, for instance, helping out with public safety, helping out with very simple stuff, but important, which was food drives, blood drives, and so on. And at that time, I also felt, let's also have somewhat of a chair on the table by having a voice. And that's when I put my hat in the ring to run for the City Council in 2013. And that was my first time ever to run.
So you have never held a public office prior to running for the City Council member of the city of Artesia in California?
That's correct. I've never held any public office, never worked with any publicly elected official or as a staff member, no experience whatsoever. And my goal was to really put my name there in 2013 and create that name ID. And typically people do not win in their first go, even in the second go. Yes. So, what happened was that my strategy was I'll knock each and every door, get to know every person in the city of Artesia. And not just once, I did that at least 3 times until everybody said, we are voting for you. And that was the time when I felt, okay, well, this is okay. This is okay. I think I got it this time. So yeah, first time around, I did win. And it was, to my surprise, to everybody else's surprise as well.
But what was the secret behind your win? Because, of course, you had not been very active in the community, though you have lived in this area for about 20 years, like you said.
Yep.
But you have not, been very active in the socially or politically in the community, and then to come from nowhere and win a major election and against an incumbent that was very, very strong. I remember, it's been about 5 years,
Yeah.
and to win that. What was your strategy?
Well, first of all, thank you for being there at that evening, and you were very gracious enough to be there and support. Thank you so much, and thank you, ARY, for your support as well. Thank you so much. The strategy was having a very professionally run campaign, a professional campaign manager, a professional team, canvassers that would really work on professional basis, phone banking, and just having a very focused ground game. So that was very, very important for the entire campaign to be run very professionally. As well as myself, like I shared, I walked the city not just once, but 3 times, and knocked each and every door. Didn't matter if that person was actually the voter or was not the voter, but knocked each and every door. So in short, and also I started early. People would start at least 2 or 3 months before. I started at least 6 months before, and those reasons were important because I wanted to make sure my name gets out there. I wanted to make sure that people get to know me at least in a span of 6 months before the election day comes around.
So, Mayor Taj, you certainly worked really hard, and anybody and everybody that knows you know that you really work very hard, and you are working with everybody in the trenches. You don't sit in the office and direct people. So now, before I go on to the next topic, which is your upcoming election, I would like to ask you about your experience as the city council member and as the mayor of Artesia. My understanding is when you joined city of Artesia, the city was at the verge of bankruptcy, and there was the public safety issues and several other issues.
Yes.
And so now, there is, you have been able to increase the job, the public safety situation is improved. The city is now has a balanced budget. So tell us a little bit about what you were able to do.
Well, thank you very much for asking that question, because that does reflect with the background that I bring from financial services and the business background that I bring. And yes, the city had filed for financial emergency. The next step up is financial bankruptcy. So we were right there when I came on the council. Again, I don't want to take the entire credit, but let's take a little credit there. That experience did bring something to the table. We were able to stop the bleeding, and the bleeding means basically stop laying workers off, and stop the fact that that step towards bankruptcy, we stopped it. We were able to balance the budget, increase the sales revenue, which actually put the money back into balancing the budget. We were able to also increase the reserves, and now today, as of today when we speak, the reserves are over 110% of general fund, which is very unheard of for any municipality. Typically it is anywhere from 50, 60, 70%, but this is 110%. And really those reserves are for those rainy days that we did not anticipate way back in 2007 and 2008 when that financial debacle happened, and that was affecting not just only one city, one municipality, but across California, across US, and some parts of the world as well. So yes, we worked very hard to do that. And we are at a position where we are very healthy, we are financially, and we are also able to make a lot of progress in development and also be able to give back to our residents who are my bosses, by the way. They elect me, and they are the ones who actually I report to, no one else. And I'm very proud to say that. And so we're able to give back to them when it comes to services like improving the quality of life from public safety point of view, from just simply trimming the trees, picking up the trash and all that. Those are simple and basic stuff, clean water, but that's very, very important to our residents and to us.
But you also worked, in addition to all of that, on bringing businesses to your city. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. You know, business is very important to any organization, and bringing business to any municipality and cities. And we were able to bring not just business but also development, which is kind of coincides to my agenda for my run, which is affordable housing, getting rid of homelessness issue, bringing more security, which is public safety, reducing the crime, and so on. So that's kind of my agenda when I'm running for the next office. But really, we were able to bring businesses to our city, but more so increase the affordable housing, reduce homelessness. By the way, we do not have homelessness issue in our city now.
Which is very unique because
yes.
You know, all over all the neighboring cities have quite a major problem with the homelessness.
Yes.
So we have lots of questions about your campaign for the Senate, and I would like to ask you, why you're running for this seat, and what you believe are your strengths in going for the seat. But before we ask you that question, it's time for a short break. Please keep watching. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are talking to Mayor Taj, who is currently the City Council member of the City of Artesia. He has served as the Mayor of the City of Artesia, and he is now running for the State Senate from the 32nd Legislative District of California. So let's continue our talk with Mayor Taj. Before I ask you about the Senate race, I would like to ask you, you're the board member of the League of California Cities, as well as you're the board member of Contract Cities, and as a matter of fact, you're the chairman of the membership committee of that board. So please tell us a little bit about your involvement with these boards.
Sure. Contract Cities, Mr. Mansuri, is comprises of about 75 cities, predominantly LA County, and a little bit of Orange County. LA County has 88 cities, and there are about 34 cities in Orange County. So the contract cities is a combination of those cities, those two counties, and really represents these counties in Sacramento. So when we have an issue of one city or two cities or three cities or five cities collectively, we as an association are able to bring that voice to the county as well as to the Sacramento legislative.
Your election for the state senate.
Yes.
The District 32 comprises of several cities from Los Angeles County and also the Orange County. So please tell us what cities are included in this district.
Yeah, from Orange County, there is Winter Park. Orange County is parts of La Mirada and some incorporated areas. Then Cerritos, Artesia, Hawaiian Gardens, Bellflower, Santa Fe Spring, Norwalk, Downey, Whittier, several cities which are actually part of it. And I also encourage, some of the residents who are voters to vote and get out to actually vote. We experienced that we are, when it comes to voting, a lot of people are just, are not there to vote. So we encourage everyone to come out and vote June 5th when the elections are. And these cities are very important cities of LA County. And 32nd District is a very large district. It has 1 million people. When we, in state senate, there are 40 senators in California. And when we send to Congress, we send 55 Congress members to Washington and 40 senators. So if we look at the geography, the state senate is much larger, not much, but about 1.5 times larger. So 55 senators to Washington and 40 senators to Sacramento. So it's a bigger district, it's a larger district compared to Congress. So the state of California is 6th largest economy of the world.
Right.
And state senator is obviously is making legislation, passing bills and laws, which are very, very important to the constituents, residents of California. And what we see is what laws and rules are passed in California, the rest of 49 states follow.
Right.
And we in California, we are leading in that aspect. So it's a very critical position when it comes to looking at legislative and Senate.
Mayor Taj, you are of course of Pakistani descent, but your past 5 years or however many years you have spent, you really have supported every ethnic minority out there. As a matter of fact, the newspapers, the local newspaper, several of them have coined you a fixture at the events of all the minorities that are in this area, be it South Asian or Latino or whatever. So you're always there. You're always actually your constituents. Some of them that we have talked to say that you are there for them all the time. You actually respond faster than some of the emergency services respond if there is a problem. And so you have really been out there. You have really created a very good rapport with the community and with all the other officials. What made you run for the state senate?
Well, it's a great question, and I'll go back to my earlier comment that when I came here with nothing, and America gave me everything. And so I'm very proud to be an American, and I want to give back. And the struggles that I went through, and my story is no different than anyone's story. And everyone's story is the American story. And especially minorities, and you mentioned earlier, I want to make sure that I'm their voice. And I am there for them, whether it is in a shape of a voice, whether physically, and I continuously want to support. So that is one of the reasons. And the issues that I'm working on really are issues that really are important to the working class families, to the low-income families. And I do not forget the struggles that I made when I came to America. Yes, I went up through the rank, but I remember the first day. I remember my first job. I remember my first interview. I remember every single day. And that actually reminds me and motivates me every morning to get up and work hard and also continuously serve each and every community. More so serving humanity, regardless of where ethnicity is or gender is or background is, but we are all one family as human beings.
Your elections, you need, of course, from the community votes. But then, in addition to votes, which is very important, of course, anybody that's in your constituency must go out and vote on June 5th. And but in addition to that, you also need funds because the elections, require, a lot of funds for promotion of your, campaign. Tell us a little bit about how much can one contribute to your campaign?
Yes. Yes, votes are extremely important. If I don't have the votes, I can't win.
Sure.
But in addition to that, and relation to that, we also need financial help or funds. So each individual can make a contribution up to $4,400 per election.
So the primary is one election, and then the November 6th. So
November.
June 5th
Yes.
is one election.
Yes.
And then November 6th, whoever wins in June 5th, then go on to the November 6th general election.
So each person can contribute 44, and Mr. and Mrs. can contribute up to 8,800.
Okay.
And the top two vote getters will go to, regardless of the party, will go to the runoff, which is November 5th election. So that's how that works. And anyone can contribute, even for the runoff, together now. But according to FPPC rules, I cannot use that money. I can show that money, but I cannot use that money. And in case I don't win, then I return that money, which is absolutely doable. But still, 4,400 per person, 8,800 per couple.
Why should somebody that's not in your constituency contribute to your campaign?
I think it's very important, like I said earlier, representation is critical, especially in California. Minorities, issues, and I believe having a chair is very, very important. If one does not have a chair, one does not have the voice.
Right.
So it's very important that anyone and everyone should step up at this time and contribute across California, across the United States of America. And I do ask that please do make a small donation. It is, and I'll tell you a story. I was at one of the colleges, and this student learned, I'm running. And this student was so inspired, and he works 2 jobs and goes to school and puts himself through school. He said, for me, this $25 contribution is like $4,400 contribution.
Right.
And yes, it is, because he puts himself through all that, but he wants to contribute. He wants to be part of this team, or part of this winning team.
And part of the voice.
Part of the voice, exactly.
Our voice in the Senate. And see, you certainly have, Mayor Taj, a very, a track record that shows, that indicates that you are the right candidate for the minorities. For the first time in the history of California or the United States, you were the architect of a bill that was passed by the California Senate that recognized the 23rd March as the Pakistan Resolution Day. And I understand you have done similar thing for several other, minorities in California. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, Artesia comprises of several communities. Sometimes it is looked at only South Asian. Yes, it is a landmark when it comes to South Asian communities, when it comes to shopping and restaurants and so on. And the Pioneer Boulevard is known for it, not only in LA County, but across California and beyond. But Artesia itself does not restrict on Pioneer Boulevard. The initial settlers in Artesia were Portuguese and Dutch. And then also Latinos, and then also Asians. So still we actually carrying on the tradition by Portuguese. We still have bullfights. By the way, they're bloodless. But the point I'm trying to share is that tradition and many other tradition still continues to go on in Artesia. And it is very important to recognize the communities, whether it is Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi, Portuguese, Filipino, and that's what we have been able to do, and I've been able to do in Sacramento, to recognize those traditions, those communities who are very important fabric of not just Artesia but for America.
Is there a message that you would like to send out to your constituents and to the community at large through our program?
Well, I think it's very important. I say this again. My focus is always future, and I consider our youth to be the future. And I also feel that all the communities who are out there, this June 5th is a very important day, and to go out and also voice your opinion, and your and the way you do it is by voting. Regardless of who you select to vote, but please do go out in as many numbers as you can and vote. That's very, very important. June 5th, and then of course November 5th. But this June is critically important, not for only my election, but for the election throughout the state of California as well. So my message is, let's go out and let's vote.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard Mayor Taj. I hope that you are inspired by his talk today. His election is on June 5th. He's running for California Senate from 32nd Legislative District of California. So if you are in that constituency, please go out and vote for him. And also, for those that would like to participate, we have his numbers on the screen to donate money. That certainly will help him, get a better position in this election. Please keep sending us your feedback, your comments. The address on your screen. Please send us your comments at that address. And to watch previous episodes of our program, please visit pakistanlink.com/ARY. That's all the time we have. Thank you so much. Khuda Hafiz.